Get out. Get out. Get out. Look at those cameras turn. Look at those cameras turn. They're like pretzels. They are like pretzels. I love the protesters. You know, the only way, now everybody's talking about how massive these crowds are. The only way they find out about the crowds, the only way is with the protesters, right? The only way. So I just want to thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to the police. Great job. It's amazing. It is amazing. You know, the funny thing is, what do we really want? We want to have a good home for our family. We want security. We want a good military. We want to take care of our vets. We want education. We want to get rid of Common Core, bring it back locally, right? So important. And you know, you'd think that people would say, you want to have a good living, you want to have a job. We don't have our jobs. Our jobs are being shipped away. Our jobs, our good jobs, are being all shipped away. And when you think of it, we all want the same thing, including these couple of characters that get shipped out of here. And the sad part is, they're like individuals. You ever notice it's one here, one there? And tomorrow you'll read in the paper, Trump has protests. Ah, look, an individual. Just an individual. So, see, in the good old days, this doesn't happen. What's more fun than a Trump rally, right? In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, you know, they would not do it again so easily. But today they walk in and they put their hand up and they put the wrong finger in the air at everybody and they get away with murder because we've become weak. We've become weak, and we really have become weak. Just like our military, we've got to take care of ISIS, folks. We got to knock them out. We got to knock them out. We got to knock them out. You know, you may have seen that they were asking during one of the debates, they were asking about Ted Cruz. They called on Ted Cruz, and they talked about waterboarding. And they said, what do you think about waterboarding, essentially? And he didn't want to answer the question because he thought it was like, you know, maybe controversial and he was not so good. Not so good. And then they turned to me, what do you think? I said, I'm 100% in favor of it. 100%. 100%. And, you know, we have to stay within the laws. Now, we have laws, right? They don't have laws. You think ISIS has laws? Do you think ISIS says, oh, well, we're not allowed to cut off heads anymore. We're not allowed to drown people in these massive steel cages where 40, 50, 60 people, they dump it and they pull it up a half an hour later with 50 people and they're dead, right? Do you think they sit back and talk about the laws? Do you think they sit back and talk about, well, waterboarding may be a little bit tough. It may be a little, I don't think so, folks. You know, if we're going to win these things, we got to fight them on a very, very much more level playing field, or you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. So we have to expand our laws, and we have to do what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do. You see what he's gotten written on his very dirty undershirt? Did you see? Says, love is the answer. And in a certain way, he's right. Love. Love is a great thing. Love is the answer he's got written. I wonder who makes with love there. I forget it. All right. So let me just tell you, folks, we've got a lot of problems. We've got $19 trillion in debt. We've got our jobs are disappearing. One of the reasons I did so well in Michigan, it was well beyond the polls, well beyond what anybody expected. It was a landslide. And Mississippi, our jobs are being taken away from us. We're going to stop it. We're not going to let it happen anymore, folks. We're not going to let it happen. We cannot be the stupid people anymore. We're not going to be the stupid people. We're not going to allow it to happen. So with Carrier, I would call Carrier and I would say, as president, you know, some people would say, well, he's not acting presidential. Let me tell you, smart guy, great schools, great everything. I can be the most presidential person that you've ever seen. But we got to get to business. So it's not presidential for me to call Carrier. So I'd probably have one of my many friends that are great, great negotiators. But you don't even need it. You call up Carrier and you say to them, and this could pertain to Ford, it could pertain to Nabisco, it could pertain to so many people, so many people. You know, she was with the last guy, you know that, right? They're together, they're a couple. A beautiful couple. A real beauty. That's a beautiful couple, folks. Okay. It's really sad. So what I do with Carrier, I would call him, and enough with free trade. I'm a free trader. But to have free trade, we need smart people at our helm. We need smart people at the top. We don't have smart people. We don't have hard-working people. We have people that don't know what the hell they're doing, all right? So I'm a very conservative guy in many ways, and frankly, I like to say I'm common sense conservative. And a lot of the so-called conservative, I remember Jeb Bush would say, he is not a conservative. And I say, why? I'm conservative with the military. I'm conservative with ISIS. You're going to knock the hell out of them. I'm conservative. I'm conservative. I'm conservative at the borders. There's nobody like me at the borders. Believe me, Sheriff Joe Arpaio came to the borders and he endorsed me. So when Sheriff Joe from Arizona endorses, and by the way, I've had some great endorsements. I've had some great. Jerry Falwell Jr., Liberty University endorsed me. He has been so great. And I'm leading Lion Ted Cruz. I'm leading him big league with the evangelicals. I love the evangelicals, my people. Lion Ted. You know, don't forget, Lion Ted was supposed to win Mississippi. He was supposed to win Alabama. He was supposed to win all of these places, heavy evangelical. He was supposed to win South Carolina. It started there. But they don't like liars. They don't like liars. And I am a truthful person, I will say that. Maybe truthful to a fault, but I am a truthful person. So I would call, I'd love to do it myself. I know I'm supposed to have somebody do it. And you might even have a rule, you cannot call yourself Mr. President. But you know what, honestly, it'll take me about 2 minutes. So I call up, I get the head of Carrier. Where do these people come from? Honestly, she looks so meek, and she looks actually very nice, just like She stands up. She doesn't know what she's doing. She just stands up, and everyone goes crazy. I think, if they want to just stand up, let them stand. Who cares? No, they're blocking somebody's view. We can't have that. We can't have that. So I'd call the head of Carrier, and I'll say, let me just tell you something. Enjoy your stay in Mexico. I hope you build a beautiful place. I hope you have some wonderful workers. But here's the story. 1,400 people were let go. They're without jobs. They're taking part-time jobs. They've been with you for many years. They've done a great job for Carrier. Carrier makes good air conditioners, right? I buy a lot. I won't be buying them anymore. But here's the story. Every single time you make an air conditioning unit and you send it through our borders, which now are going to be real borders, by the way, we will charge you 35% tax as sure as you're sitting there. Now, here's what happens. Little Marco would say, I think he's gone, but who knows? You never know. But Marco, they hate him in Florida. I want to tell you, in Florida, he doesn't show up to vote. They elected a senator, and he's got the worst voting record in the last 15, 20 years in the United States Senate. What kind of a representative? Who wants to vote for him? I mean, if I don't beat Marco in Florida, because Florida's my place. I love Florida. I employ thousands of people in Florida. Florida's my place. But he's totally in favor of amnesty, all the things that you don't like. So it's one of those things. But I don't think he's going to do very well. But here's the problem. Lion Ted and Little Marco, they have one problem. Little Marco, by the way, is a choke artist. Remember when Chris Christie cross-examined him? And I thought I had to hold him up with this powerful hand. I thought I have to grab him. He was ready to go. He was ready to go. He talked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought he was ready to go. Okay. But I'd call him up and I'd say 35%. Now, if one of these guys, or Hillary, Hillary, we can't have we're not going to have a country left if we have Hillary. Can you imagine? First of all, she shouldn't be allowed to run, okay? She shouldn't. She should not be allowed to run. Shouldn't be allowed. This is amazing. It's so great, though. It's so great. How big is the crowd? What do we have here today? 14, 15,000, right? 15,000. I'm telling you, I used to go home and my wife would say to me, how big was your crowd? I said, did you watch on television? Yes, but they never leave your face. She said, it sounded like a lot. And I'd say, 21,000 people. She said, really? I said, but didn't they show the crowd? Never. With the protesters, they show the crowd. I love my protesters. I really do. They show the crowd. You know why? Because it's supposed to be trouble. It's supposed to be a bad thing. It's not actually a bad thing, but it's supposed to be. And this way they turn. And I tell people, for 5 events in a row, I thought the cameras were fixed. I figured maybe it's new equipment, they can't turn, right? And then we had a protester way up in a corner, and one camera was turned upside down and backwards like a pretzel. And I said, they can turn. So we love our protesters. So here's what's going to happen. They will be called by their lobbyist, who takes care of them, by their special interests, who take care of them, or by their donors, and say, you have to let Carrier sell to the United States. You can't charge them a tax. And I'll tell you what. Every one of these people is taken care of 100%. Now, here's what happens with Trump. I'll be called by a couple of people, but I'm self-funding. I'm putting up my own money. I'm not taking money, right? I'm not taking money. I've turned down millions and millions. I've turned down one man for $10 million. They want to put up money. Don, please, let me give you money. And a lot of them are good people. They're friends of mine. One of them comes up every month. He sees me. Very rich guy from Palm Beach, Florida. He goes, Don, I'd really like to give you anything you want, many millions, whatever you want. And I keep telling him, no. His name is Howard, great guy. I say, Howard.